If you've been keeping an eye on the Switch eShop, you may have noticed the open network test for Gundam Breaker 4. Now, over 2 days, we got to experience a few missions, jump into online play, and even explore the game's lobby system. Now, although much was still locked away, including the game's story mode, gave us a solid taste of what to expect, and today I'm excited to share my impressions. Now, spoiler alert here, not only did I have a blast, but this appears to be a fantastic port as well. Alright, look, if you do enjoy this video, do me a favor, like it and subscribe, that helps out the channel a huge amount, and yeah, let's dive in. For those unfamiliar, the Gundam Breaker series revolves around Gunpla battles, and you build, customize and fight with your own Gundam models. The series has built a dedicated fanbase over the years thanks to its mix of action, creativity and deep customization options, and while it has definitely seen both highs and lows, it generally holds a favourable position amongst fans for its engaging gameplay. Now, New Gundam Breaker was actually the last entry in the series, but Gundam Breaker 3 is perhaps the most celebrated for its innovation and extensive customization. Fans just loved the blend of creativity and action, setting a high bar for future games, and naturally, because of this, Gundam Breaker 4 has a lot to live up to, but so far it's definitely looking promising. So first of all, what are the key features? What are Bandai Namco highlighting as the game changers for this entry? And first up, we got a dual weapon system. Well, it is exactly how it sounds, honestly. You can use 2 different weapons simultaneously, making combat a little extra strategic. You can even break off parts from your enemies during battles and go ahead and collect them up. Now from there, talking about the models, the base kits and the customization is a big one. We can now choose from over 250 base kits and combine their parts to build your perfect Gundam. Basically, you can even go as far here as making it unique with paint, weathering and different decals. Next up then, they're talking to the Diorama Mode. Show off your custom Gunpla with multiple backgrounds and special effects to create these different epic scenes that you can share online. I was particularly impressed during my hands-on time with the game's included photo mode. Finally, the fourth, let's say, big feature they're touting, combat missions. You can take your customized Gunpla on the intense missions, so basically battle it out with tough opponents in both online and single player modes. So yeah, think fight with friends, fight with AI, equip new skills, and of course destroy those enemies. Alright, so let's talk to this open network test experience. What could we actually do in it? So in the open network test, we could tackle 3 distinct quests, each offering a unique challenge alongside an AI partner. These quests had 3 difficulty options as well, something I love to see. The customization options were as fast as they advertised. It allows you to tailor your Gunpla to your exact preferences. Online play was available too, though I will say I had some connectivity issues, which I will get to. Then the bounty hunter missions added another, layer of mission type. Basically, you could pick high value targets, so think super powered bosses, and just go ahead in intense battles to test out your skills. Beside the quests then as well, we could also explore the lobby world. It acts as a hub for all of these different options. You could do things such as display a Gunpla of your choice at the center, adding kind of a personal touch to the space. We could preview screens that hinted at upcoming leaderboard functionalities, adding that extra competition. There was a clan lobby that offered a social space to connect with other players. I couldn't access it. You must be in a clan to go in there. And then finally, there was a photo mode, and I really thought this was great. It let you capture your custom creations in some really good detail with different poses and different backgrounds. Alright, so let's talk gameplay, and as someone not deeply familiar with Gundam games, my experience was basically limited to SD Gundam on the Switch, Super Robot Wars, and New Gundam Breaker on PS4. However, playing Gundam Breaker 4, everything just, clicked for me. I replayed the missions multiple times, and I found it to be the most interested I've ever been. Now, the gameplay cycle here, just battling enemies, collecting parts and testing them out, was just incredibly satisfying. The menus as well, I will say, were a little confusing initially, but I got the hang of them. And thankfully, the abundance of options is accompanied by an intuitive interface, which makes navigating through customization and combat settings pretty, I'd say, straightforward. And despite the complexity, the core is just good old-fashioned action. The quests here are divided into 3 sections, making for a total of 9 locations. You basically take down waves of enemies in each day before facing a sub-boss. The third and final section of each quest then is reserved for a tough boss encounter requiring new strategies and smart moves. And yeah, the game here just shines with its responsive controls and variety. You know, weapons, for example, come in two types, beam swords and guns, each interchangeable with a button tap. Boosting, blocking, and locking onto targets adds that layer of strategy. And then I think the rewarding part of the battles was just this sheer amount of loot and watching different parts get destroyed. Each equipment change as well just impacts your abilities, from weapon fire rate to power to various stats. Additionally, we have EX and OP moves, and these actually change as you switch parts. So for example, on booting up the game, I had a massive sword attack that I could trigger. Also, I had the ability to repair myself, something I think everybody has, and then a super powered gun attack. When I made a switch in my equipment, all of these different things, except for the repair function, just completely disappeared. You know, they're really easy moves to use with a quick tap of the corresponding trigger, but it shows you the strategy that's going to go into building those different models. Also, the variety of attacks and their impact, I really do like this. I'm curious to see what these different switches and equipment will lead to in this world. So for example, the first boss in that first quest is a massive towering thing that just filled the entire screen. Here I was jumping, diving, dodging all over the shop just so I could get within close enough range to do any sort of damage. One drawback I did, however, have with the game was the difficulty in accessing a multiplayer lobby. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, but basically I got into a couple. When they tried to launch the game, it just booted me immediately. When I did start my own, same situation basically. I finally did get into one. It's definitely a lot of fun. There was no impact on the performance as well. It was a blast working alongside others, but I'm hoping to see some more stability in the future. I did actually check my system on a few other games for online play, and I had no issues at all there, so it seems the servers were probably just being overworked at this early stage of the open network test. Overall though, when it comes to performance and bits like that, the Nintendo Switch build of the game here, it averages a solid 30 FPS with some fluctuations. Thankfully in that south, it seems to be sitting between 30 and 40 FPS, and honestly, if I hadn't done the analysis I did do, I wouldn't have even noticed the frames per second were actually moving. It feels really good, really tight. Now, on that note, when it comes to the actual visuals of the game alongside this performance, the game's not going to be winning any awards. The arena designs are, let's call them functional but lackluster. There's different settings like ice worlds and deserts. You know, that's a nice touch, but they definitely feel a little lifeless. There's not really much going on except for your, you know, presence ready to battle it out. However, thankfully, the Gunpla designs are fantastic, and customizing your creation is immensely satisfying. The boss appearances in particular, dropping down in their retail packaging before exploding out, that is an absolute highlight. So yeah, I think overall, a Gundam Breaker 4's open network test has definitely impressed me, despite some connectivity issues that I had on the basic arena designs. The responsive controls, the extensive customization, and the gameplay in general has just put it high on my most wanted list for the year. However, I do have to state there's still a lot left here unknown. You know, what will the story detail? What other parts will become available? How will a multiplayer work, especially with the ranking system, which could become, you know, seriously addictive? And then how will the replayability be here? Do note though, it seems they have a winning formula in that regard to me, because during this test, I couldn't put it down, and now, as I said, I'm excited to see how that final game shapes up. So if you've been playing the open network test, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as I asked at the beginning, have you played past entries? If so, how does this one shape up? And yeah, with that, hit subscribe, join us here for Switch news, deals, reviews, and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.